Did you know that the same garlic you used to season your jollof rice could be the reason a life-saving drug turns into a silent killer?
With our eyes.
We often think natural means safe, but in forensic, we know better. Warfarin is a blood thinner anticoagulant. Doctors give it to people to prevent strokes or heart attacks. It works by blocking vitamin K, which your body needs to make the glue that stops you from bleeding when you get a cut. Now enter garlic. In high doses, supplements or heavy cooking, garlic has its own natural power to stop blood cells from sticking together. When you take warfarin and garlic together, it is like a car with two different people slamming on the brakes at the same time. The blood becomes too thin. Inside the body, tiny vessels can leak because the glue clotting factor is gone. The person can bleed into their brain or stomach. In forensic, we find these victims with no external wounds, but their internal organs are drowning in blood. If your blood thinners, natural isn't always your friend. Tell your pharmacy if you take herbal supplements. Remember, respect the dose or meet the ghost. Respect the dose or meet the ghost. Thank you. A well-known businessman walked into the pharmacy. He looked successful, but he was working with a limp. He leaned over and showed me a bottle of foreign painkillers he had bought from an unofficial source online. He said, "These are from the UK. They work better than what you have here. I just need you to sell me some extra so I can make them when the pain gets bad." Interesting. I took the bottle, the labeling was slight off, the font was wrong. I looked him in the eye and said, "Sir, you are holding a potential forensic file. You think you are buying relief, but if this is laced with synthetic like fentanyl, it can trigger respiratory depression, that will cause myocardial infarction, that is heart attack.
With our eyes.
But even before you call your driver, things could have gone south." He laughed. He said, "I have been taking this for a month, I'm fine." I told him about the polypharmacy trap I saw, that he was also buying sleep aids and herbal supplements. I explained that his liver was already working overtime. Adding a mystery pill to that mix is like putting a bomb in a furnace. He didn't listen. He left, annoyed by my long talk. 2 weeks later, his assistant came back to the pharmacy looking pale. She asked if I knew a good doctor because her boss stopped breathing in his sleep and had to be rushed to the ICU. He survived but lost a part of his kidney function. He was a survivor just like some of the people we will talk about later, but he was a heartbeat away from being a prince. Now, that comes to the fulcrum of our discussion today. You see, in Nigeria, we have a culture of I have some drugs at home, we keep leftovers in shoe boxes, we buy imported drugs from people who sell from bags. Do not combine painkillers with alcohol or sleeping pills. That is the celebrity cocktail that kills. If a drug is significantly cheap or cheaper than the market prices or comes from an unofficial source, it is likely a counterfeit. That is a signal. Don't just mix it with chemicals. Fix the cause. Now, okay, talking about Prince, we look at a man who was so talented, he felt otherworldly. Prince was a king of melody, but he lived in a world of silence. While he was making thousands of people dance, he was secretly suffering in agony. On April 21, 2016, the music stopped. Prince was found alone in an elevator in his Paisley Park home. There was no blood, no struggle, and no noise. Just a silent shutdown. He was 57 years old, but his body was much older. Years of splits, jumps, and legendary performances in a 4-inch heels had destroyed his hips. He was in constant burning pain. To stay on stage, he needed relief. This is the point where the gift of sleep and the gift of comfort becomes a trap. Prince wasn't looking for a high, he was looking for functionality. He wanted to be able to walk without crying. Regrettably, this led him to the world of opioids. But in the final weeks of his life, he wasn't just taking medicine, he was taking a lottery ticket of.
with our eyes.
You see, parents reportedly thought he was taking Vicodin, a common painkiller made of hydrocodone and acetaminophen, but the pills found in his system were fake. They were counterfeit. They were pressed to look like Vicodin, but they were actually pure fentanyl. Adding a glue to that, think of your brain like a car engine. To keep the car running and your body breathing, the spark plugs must fire regularly. Inside your brain, you have docking stations called mu opioid receptors. Normal painkillers like morphine or tramadol are like a gentle hand, turning a volume knob down on your pain, but fentanyl is different. Fentanyl is like a 10-ton weight dropped onto the breathing button. When fentanyl hits these mu opioid receptors, it doesn't just stop the pain, it stops the reflex. It tells the brain you don't need to breathe anymore. It silences the brain. In medicine, we call this respiratory depression because fentanyl is 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount, the size of 2 grains of salt, is enough to kill an adult. Prince's brain simply muted his lungs. He didn't choke, he just stopped. The autopsy of Prince was a masterclass in toxicology. They found fentanyl levels in his blood that were exceedingly high. Even more chilling was that the forensic team found in his home aspirin bottles and vitamin containers that were actually filled with these fake Vicodin pills. This is why forensics is so important. It proves that even a billionaire can be a victim of a bad bash on the street. He thought he was taking Vicodin, but he didn't know that he was taking a fake. Prince was a survivor of many things, but he could not survive the home pharmacy trap. So let us all know that he wasn't a junkie, he was a victim of the opioid crisis. He was trying to manage pain in private because of the stigma. If he had sought professional supervised pain management in a clinical setting rather than relying on private sources, the king of purple might still be with us today. So think about it. Respect the dose, respect the life. If you don't respect the chemistry of the body will eventually stop responding to the chemistry of life. Thank you.